Okay, welcome students. So yesterday we had just started with the another file, and if you talk in the terms of RDBMS, we have started with another table. So over here you can see that yesterday I created that was marks.py, and marks.py contains this code, and we created the modules for marks, that is the marks module, isn't it? So this is the module, and then there are functions inside the module. So we had just simply did some copy paste work and nothing more than that. So today we are going to implement this, so carefully watch the entire process. So marks.py, I'll go back to it, and let me just check if everything is at its place or not. That is a generate primary key. So obviously this is going to be a new file, or so called a new table, right? But when I'm saying table, I'm actually referring to the file, please understand this. So we have a new table, and then we have a generate primary key, that is a function. So this is going to generate a primary key, a unique number for every record. Then we have the while loop, which is an infinite loop, since this is while true. And then there are enter marks, edit marks, delete marks, search, and so on. So we're going to see how this is going to shape up. Okay, so enter marks, okay, the option is 1. So if it is 1, then the first thing that I need to do is generate a primary key. But this is not how the things are going to work. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is, once the user goes for the option 1, that is enter marks, so then what we need to do is we need to ask the user, please enter the class and section. Okay, please enter the class and section. So that is the input we are going to take from the user, and then depending on that input, we are going to accept marks for that particular class and for that particular section. So for one particular class and section, we are going to accept the marks, and one by one we can display the names of the students, and then we can accept the marks for the 5 subjects for one particular student. So this is how the approach is going to be. So let us just start with this, like how to go about it. So we are going to accept two things over here. So I will accept, that is, two things. That is, first is, okay, just capital C, because class is a keyword, so I'll just make this as capital C. Okay, now this is a variable, and then I will take input from the user, that is in, and then I will ask for enter a class. Fine. And copy this and paste it and enter the section. Now children, different classes might have different number of subjects, all that is there. Okay, but we are not really going to deep into that. I am just going to take some around 5 subjects, assuming that every class is having 5 subjects. Okay, since this is just a student level project, so we are just keeping a lot of limitations onto this. You are supposed to just showcase that how well you are able to code, how well you are able to develop the project, and that is what you need to showcase. That's it. Okay, you're not here to actually develop the software. So class and section, so I'll change this to section. Two inputs are very important, and then I need to, depending on this input, I need to you know um, filter out the students belonging to a particular class and section. So I guess we had this function, that is we wrote for search. So using that function also, we can copy paste the same code, or we can use the same code. Let me just check that. Okay, so class and section, and then I'll go to file operations, and over here you can see this is what we had written, that is display student class section, isn't it? And that is the test.dat. Now please understand, test.dat, it is the records that we are storing for the students. So test.dat is the master file or a master table where we are actually storing all the data of the students. So this is the same thing that we can use. And what we need to do is, okay, uh, I need to copy this. Let me just copy this at this point, or I'll just copy the entire function just to keep things simple. Otherwise, things may become a bit complicated. And then I'll go to, that is marks.py, and this is there is a module that I created that was, just a minute. Okay, I need to close this. I don't require this. I don't require this. Test.csv, I don't require. Primary text. Okay, then these are the files that I require. Then this is the marks module, and okay, already we have that function over here. See, okay, so I'm going to make use of this particular function, and then there is a some kind of logic that we need to apply. We are going to uh, you know generate unique primary keys, and we are going to have the registration number of the students. Okay, so okay, I'm just going to make you understand this, that is primary marks. So this is for generating the primary key. That was the file, and it is, we have stored 0 into this. So this is going to go in, go on incrementing. And this was the marks module, where we have stored all the methods, all the functions. Fine. And we are going to, and this is the main file for the marks. Okay, so let's begin. And what I will do is I'll go to marks module. First thing that I'm doing is going to marks module, and okay, I'm going to make changes in this particular function. And let me just copy this. I'm going to give a call to this function from here. So how I'm going to give a call to the function, that is display record, that is, okay, so that was display record, isn't it? So from here, from, see, the moment the project starts growing, the complication also starts growing, and then things become a bit difficult to understand. So I am saying this, okay, just you need to be very careful when developing the project. Okay, and then I will use that same function name. I'll remove this, and I will say as um, so this is as like this, and sc, that is display student and, or display class and section, class comma section. Okay, so this is just an alias name that I gave to this particular function. So now I can use this alias name over here, that was over here, and I need to okay, and I need to pass the arguments, that is class comma section. Fine. And generate primary key, we have it over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, we are not going to use this generate primary key out here. I'm going to remove it from here, and this generate primary key, I'm going to cut it from here. Okay, let me just make the code perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to go to marks module, and I'm going to paste it over here. So even that is a part of the model, generate primary key. And the reason I'm doing all this is you'll come to know. Okay, and then I'm going to give a call to this function. We are going to jump to this particular function from here. Okay, where is it? That is option 1, and from here. Okay, rest of the part at this point I will just delete everything. Okay, and now we will have a bit clean code. So see, this is the call to the function. If the user goes for the first option, that is entering the marks, if choice is equal to 1, I'm going to take two inputs, that is class and section, give a call to the function that belongs to the module, that is marks module. From here it is going to jump to the function, that is this one. Fine, and these are the two parameters, class and section, and these are the arguments that we passed. So this class and section will be received by these two parameters. Fine, and this is where we have to do all the coding, all the filtering anyway we are doing this. Now let us just see. Okay, now over here you can see that if it matches with the class and section, if a particular student matches with the class and section, then what we need to do is we are not simply going to display the records. The first thing that I'm going to do over here is generate a primary key. Fine, generate a primary key. So I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, the first thing that I did is generated a primary key. After generating the primary key, and what was the name of the file that we created? Just a minute, let me just open the file where we are actually going to store all the records, and that was okay, test.dat primary key marks.dat, isn't it? So this is where we are going to store. This is the file, and the name of the file is marks.dat. And what is the format that we are going to store? We are going to, first thing we are going to store is the primary key of this particular table, which means the file, then the delimiter, then the registration number of the student. Okay, and then simply, so this is a primary key, and this is going to be the foreign key. For why foreign key? Because this is also a primary key but of some other table, and in this case it belongs to some another file. And then we are going to simply just take the the marks of the 5 subjects. So over here we are not going to store any class, section, name of the student, nothing. Why? Because that's the concept of RDBMS. In RDBMS we will not do any duplicates, right? We will not allow the duplicates. So we are just going to join two tables. So in this case also I am trying to join two files using this foreign key. So this is a registration number, and then using this registration number I can collect all the name, class, section, isn't it? I can go to the file that is test.dat. So this is a registration number over here, this is a primary key. So I can take the roll number of the student, the name of the student, the class, and the section, right? So this is the whole thing that we need to do. So the first thing that we are going to do over here, okay, now this is very confusing, so it's better to give proper names to your files. So marks.dat, then marks.py. So we are over here, and from here we are jumping to that marks module, and we are actually over here. The first thing that I did over here is generate a primary key, because I want a primary key for marks.dat, and then I want the student's registration number. So how I can get the registration number is, okay, so let me just make that as a string. This is going to generate the primary key, which I'm going to, this is going to return the primary key. So I'm going to say primary is equal to generate primary key. So this is going to return that primary key. Fine. And the first thing I'm going to do is use the str, convert this primary key into string, and collect this whole thing as one string. So I'm going to say record is equal to str primary, because this is going to be a number. So that number we have to convert into string. So that's the first thing. And then I need the student's registration number. From where I will get the registration number? This is L of 3, which that is class. But what is L of 0? L of 0 is going to be the registration number. So that is going to be anyway in the string form. So I'm just going to type L of 0. That's it. Okay, the first thing that we, most important thing is the tilde sign, which we are going to consider. This is our delimiter, isn't it? Plus. Fine. So that primary key, then the delimiter, then the registration number. This is the foreign key. Okay, and then the marks of the students, right? So over here I need to collect the marks of the students. So let us go ahead and collect the marks of the students. So then I will print, and I'm going to take only 5 subjects out here. That is enter student, sorry, so I will simply write English, enter marks for English. You can give proper messages, children. Then okay, let me copy this and paste it over here. This is English, then I will take maths, and then I'm going to take physics, and you can have your own subjects. And as I said, we are going to have just fixed number of subjects. Now we are not going to go, okay, that some of them might have 7 subjects in the lower classes, the upper classes. We are not going to get into all that. Okay, so English, maths, physics, chemistry, and the last, which is the most important subject, that is computer science, isn't it? Most important subject. So I just printed it, but we have to accept the marks, isn't it? So I will say English is equal to input, and over here I'm going to say maths is equal to input, and over here I'm going to say physics is equal to input, and over here I'm going to say chemistry is equal to input, and at the last, that is CS, I'll write it in the short, and input. So I'm going to accept all this from the user, and then we will do that joining. Can we just, okay, how do I come to the next line? Let's say this, does this work? Plus, and then I'm going to say the marks, right? So please understand that this is the series that we are using, that is English, Maths, Physics, Chemistry, and CS. So then I'm going to, okay, now this, okay, I'm going to accept in the form of a string. You can do some validation process in case the student, the user enters some character or something. That entire thing we can come up with, but we are keeping the scope very a very small scope, and so I'm not going to get into that validation process, but you can do the coding if you want. So I'm assuming that the user is going to enter only numbers, so simple. And then I'm going to use the tilde sign after, see, this is the primary key, this is the foreign key, and then the tilde sign plus, and then I'm going to join the marks, that is English, right? And let me just copy paste, copy and paste one more, and again I'll use that slash and come back to the next line, and then 1 2 3 4, so, and 5. So this was English, this was what, this was maths, and this was physics. and this was chemistry, and this is CS, and I'll remove that plus sign now. In fact, I need to have a slash n at the end so that the next record gets written onto the next line. And you can see this is how we can type multiple lines. I used a backslash, and then after plus the backslash, and then I came to the next line. So you can type in multiple lines, otherwise I have to type in one complete line, and you know that it becomes a problem for for navigating horizontally. We have to scroll, right? So anyway, so this is the record. And now what happens is, okay, now it is what is going to happen, I'm going to tell you. It is just going to, this particular code is just going to accept marks for English, maths, physics, chemistry, CS for a particular student, but we don't know the student, who the student is. So we can display the name of the student first, and then so that the user knows, okay, for this particular person I am entering this marks. So we can enter the registration number and the name of the student, right? So okay, we'll just come back to this. We're going to do that. Let me just finish up the entire thing over here, and then what we need to do is I'm going to remove this, and then we need to write this record into the file. So I'm going to use the file handle, that is fout, for writing just the name of the variable, name of the handler, and then the open function, and the name of the file that we are going to use is marks.dat, and I need to open this file in A mode because I want to retain all the data, all the previous data as well. And then what we need to do is file out dot no okay, file out dot write, and I'm going to simply write the record, and then do not forget to close that particular file. So this is the entire process, and then we are going to display the registration number and the name of the student, okay, so that the user actually understands what exactly for which student he is entering the marks. So we can just simply come over here, and I can simply say print registration number, and where do I get the registration number? If it is equal, so this particular code I say L of 0, and I can have it in one line as well, but at this point I'll keep it in the next line. And the student name, so student name is 0, 1 and 2. Why 2? You can see here, that's 0, L of 0, L of 1, L of 2, isn't it? So I used 2 over there. And then the primary key is going to get generated for marks.dat. So over here the first thing that we require is a primary key, then the foreign key, then the marks of the students, and using that foreign key we can get access to all the data of the student, that is the name, class, section and everything. Okay, do not worry. So this is what we have come up till now, and this is going to work, do not worry. And initially might be few errors. Now we cannot go ahead unless and until we do some checking for logical errors, otherwise then later on it becomes a problem. So first thing, we have just develop this function, okay, type in the code, and now we will just run this and check if everything is working fine or not. So if I go to test.dat, I have, see, this is class 10a, this is 12a, this is 10a, 10a. So I have 4 records of 10a, 4 records of 10a. Can you see it, children? 10a, 10a, 10a and 10a. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the marks for 10th A. Okay, I'm going to enter the marks for 10th A, and then we will see how it works. Okay, let me go. Now the problem is this is an independent file, which is this one. Okay, this is an independent file. So, and this another one, that is write program, is also an independent file. And then later on we are going to have one file, one particular code, a main program code, in which we are going to make use of these two these two programs. So at this point I will go to marks.py and simply run this, and definitely we are going to have some errors out here. Okay, at this point I am going to remove. Okay, let it be as it is. We are going to have some errors. Okay, that's much better luck, I would say, that at the first run there is no error, but definitely later on we might have some errors. So enter marks. Let me just try this. Enter marks, and okay, it is asking for the class, so I will enter the same class, that is, you can see 10th A. So the same data we have to enter, children. Okay, that is student dot marks dot dat. Okay, we are here, fine. So that is class 10, section is A, and you can see it has worked. Okay, it is not showing any error. So see, you can see that enter a section, and then this is something we need to remove because that's the part of the code. We need to remove this, and this is what we coded, that is registration number is what, 1, student name is what, Ajay, fine. And now you can see it is asking for the marks for the English, for whom, for Ajay, and I will give it over here maybe 67, and maybe 90, maybe 55, 60, or just 60, computer science 100. Okay, and I'll just press enter, and now you can see this is an infinite loop. Okay, it is not coming out, so let's just fix that. And we are also going to see what happened in the marks.dat. That will be very interesting. And I click over here, and you can see that first it did not enter anything, but yes, it has. Why there was some space, I don't know, that we will check. But you can see that is the primary key, and so it has only accepted for one student. And the reason what went wrong over here, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete everything from this file, and just press del, children. There shouldn't be no second line. Okay, there should be only one line, so keep on pressing del so that everything gets deleted from the file. Then save this file, and then come back to over here. Okay, what we're doing is we're reading, and then we need to again use this read line to read the next record. So that is going to be outside the loop, something over here, outside the if, I mean to say, fine. And now let us run this. Oh, this is the module that I'm trying to run. Just a minute. Marks, no, okay, marks.py, and here it is. Okay, let us see what happens this time. So I say uh, marks, class is 10, section is A, and that is Ajay. So I will enter some marks. Let me just run this through now. Okay, and you can see it has now asked registration number is 3, name of the student is Nitin. Now it is working. And then it is asking for Aditya. Are you getting it, children? So this is how the logic is getting implemented. And now it is asking for Abhay. So there were 4 students, I guess. Now let's see what happens after this. And that's it. See, it has not asked me anything else. I say 5 and we will exit. And now the most interesting thing is we are going to see marks.dat, and you can see so nicely it has written the the data. Now whether it has collected everything, that is registration 1, 3, 4 and 5. And now let us check test.dat, and you can see that is 10th A primary key 1, then 3, then 4, then 5, and over here it will be foreign key. So you can see uh, yes, over here. Okay, and this is the primary key which is automatically getting generated. So this is 1, 3, 4 and 5, and you can see this foreign key 1, 3, sorry, something went wrong. Okay, it shouldn't be. Okay, 1, 3, 4 and 5 will be matched with 1, 3, sorry, 1 and 3, 4 and 5. Why? Because this is only 10th A. See, 10th A registration number 1, 10th A registration number 3, then 4, and this is 5. So this is working pretty nicely. I thought it is going to actually create a bit of problems, but it worked pretty nicely. Okay, so this is the code, children. So I am going to give this code to you, and two things I need to do is I need to copy, that is, see, you require three files. You have to create marks.dat, keep it completely empty. Make sure that you need to have a primary underscore marks, which we are going to use to generate primary key. Create this file and enter a 0. That's it, a simple a 0. Do not press enter or anything else. Okay, just type 0 and leave it and close it. Save it and close it. Do not press enter or do anything else. Okay, and then we have these two files, that is marks.py, and there is the module. I close the module, just a minute. And what was it? Marks.py file operations, and that was marks module, if I'm not wrong. So this is the module, isn't it, children? Right, this is the module. So I'm going to give these two files to you. So let me just copy everything. So yesterday, children, I'm just a bit exhausted, so I couldn't give much of a time, but yeah, today we really made a good use of the time and we really developed something, isn't it? So this is, I copied this and I will paste this into Word file. So children, please go through this, and this is now really a base for you for any project. Okay, now you can download the other projects if you want, but I have shown my roadmap to you how to go about it. Okay, and I'm going to paste it. Okay, so I'll just do that, and I'll give that code to you. So that's it, children. Bye for now.